In early 1942, on the rugged slopes of the Bataan Peninsula, Filipino and American soldiers waged a desperate, months-long battle against a relentless Japanese onslaught. Amid shortages and overwhelming odds, these defenders held their ground with gritty determination, carving out a legacy of valor, even as the battle took its devastating toll. Their stand at Bataan, marked by fierce resistance and self-sacrifice, became a defining moment in Philippine history, symbolizing the nation's enduring will to fight for freedom. Fast forward to today, and that enduring spirit is being revived as Manila embarks on a transformative $35 billion military modernization plan. Just as the heroes of Bataan mobilized against overwhelming odds, modern Filipino leaders are shifting focus from decades of internal security to a robust external defense strategy. In this renewed era, long-standing allies have rejoined the fray, most notably the United States, whose steadfast support during those historic battles now converges with Manila's vision to counter emerging threats in the volatile Indo-Pacific. This strategic overhaul is not merely an upgrade of armaments. It's a reaffirmation of national sovereignty and a bold step towards securing the nation's vast maritime frontiers. For decades, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP, focused on internal security, battling insurgencies and domestic threats. But with rising tensions in the South China Sea, the government has made a decisive shift towards external defense. This is reflected in the modernization budget, which now prioritizes naval and aerial capabilities. A significant portion of the budget is dedicated to the Philippine Navy, ensuring the expansion and upgrade of maritime assets to secure territorial waters. The Philippine Air Force is also receiving heavy investment, particularly in aerial surveillance, intelligence gathering, and combat readiness. The Philippine Army is shifting towards support roles in external defense, specializing in amphibious operations and coastal protection. To establish a credible deterrent, the Philippines is acquiring game-changing military assets. Negotiations with France and South Korea for its first-ever submarine fleet mark a major leap in naval defense. USAVs and maritime patrol aircraft will enhance real-time ISR, while 6 offshore patrol vessels, OPVs, from South Korea, arriving by 2026, will strengthen control over the EEZ. The Horizon 3 phase 2023 to 2028 prioritizes high-tech weapons, logistics, and training to build a modern, integrated force. The comprehensive archipelagic defense strategy shifts focus from land-based threats to maritime security. With a 2.2 million square kilometer exclusive economic zone, the Philippines needs a strong naval-air integration. This doctrine combines surveillance tech, rapid response, and coordinated operations to safeguard Philippine waters. Imagine state-of-the-art submarines patrolling the Philippine Sea, UCAVs gathering real-time intelligence, and modern warships safeguarding Filipino fishermen. This is the AFP's vision, a defense ecosystem ready for modern threats. With a $35 billion transformation, the Philippines is no longer just reacting to threats. It is preparing to deter them. At Antonio Bautista Air Base, a C-130 roared overhead as Filipino and U.S. troops trained together, a symbol of deepening military ties. The U.S. has provided $8.1 billion in military aid, including $500 million in foreign military financing, FMF, to modernize the AFP. Key assets like C-130 transport planes, Hamilton-class cutters, and Cyclone-class patrol ships have strengthened maritime security and rapid response capabilities. The alliance is anchored in the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty and Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, expanding U.S. military presence in the region. Balakatan exercises, the largest joint drills, enhance combat readiness and interoperability. With rising tensions in the South China Sea, these partnerships are more critical than ever. While the U.S. remains the Philippines' key defense ally, Manila is expanding partnerships across the Indo-Pacific. Japan has delivered coastal radar systems and is exploring patrol boat and fighter jet transfers, with its self-defense forces now joining military drills. Australia, under the status of Visiting Forces Agreement, is training AFP troops in maritime security, counterinsurgency, and amphibious ops, while also helping train Filipino pilots and naval officers. France is eyeing submarine deals, while India is discussing BrahMos missile transfers, boosting coastal defense. The Philippines is taking charge of its defense, reinforcing sovereignty through U.S. aid, Japan drills, and Australian security pacts. As a Balakatan drill commenced, a commander's voice rang out, "Stay sharp, train hard, because when the time comes, we fight together." With a growing web of allies and advanced military strategy, the Philippines is standing stronger, smarter, and more prepared than ever. In the West Philippine Sea, Lieutenant Carlos Mendoza's patrol vessel received intelligence about an unidentified foreign ship shadowing Filipino fishing boats near Scarborough Shoal. Moments later, a USP-8 Poseidon surveillance aircraft soared overhead, closely monitoring the situation. This scene reflects the new normal. The Philippines, once seen as a weak link, is now a crucial player in the Indo-Pacific's evolving military landscape. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement has transformed the Philippines into a key staging ground for U.S. military forces. Originally signed in 2014, EDCA allows the rotation of U.S. troops, prepositioning of military equipment, and construction of military facilities on Philippine bases. In 2023, the agreement expanded from 5 to 9 sites, significantly strengthening the U.S. military's reach in the region. These new EDCA sites are strategically placed to protect the country's most vulnerable areas. Naval Base, Camilo Osayas, and Lalo Airport in Cagayan, located near Taiwan, are now vital in preparing for potential contingencies in the Taiwan Strait. Meanwhile, Balabac Island in Palawan brings U.S. forces closer to contested waters, directly countering Chinese expansion in the South China Sea. Defending the expansion, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. stated, "This is not about provoking conflict. This is about deterrence. We must be ready for any scenario."
I am aware that the emerging threat to our territory and our emphasis on addressing this threat requires adjustment in our strategy. The external security environment is becoming more complex. It is becoming more unpredictable. Common security challenges necessitate a more concerted approach among like-minded nations. Share information, learn from the best practices in the region to make our military better.
However, China strongly opposed the move, accusing the Philippines of becoming a pawn in U.S. military strategy. As regional tensions escalate, Manila is no longer a passive observer. It is now a frontline player in the Indo-Pacific power struggle. For years, China has militarized the South China Sea with artificial islands, missile bases, and naval outposts. Now, the U.S. is pushing back. In 2024, reports surfaced that long-range missiles, including Tomahawk cruise missiles and the Typhoon missile system, could be deployed at EDCA sites in the Philippines. The Typhoon system is a game-changer. Capable of launching SM-6 and Tomahawk missiles, it gives U.S. forces the ability to strike deep inside enemy territory, including Chinese military installations. Beijing's response was swift, warning that the Philippines could become the Ukraine of Asia if it hosts U.S. missiles. Despite Chinese pressure, Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. stood firm. What we do within our territory is our sovereign decision.
It's not a finality because there must be consent to sell. No? However, we are planning to have such kinds of capabilities. I think the whole world knows who is on the right path and the wrong path. Definitely, we cannot take advice from people who distort the truth. And nobody believes them anyway.
With U.S. forces rotating through EDCA bases, advanced missile systems on the way, and tensions in the Taiwan Strait rising, the Philippines is no longer just a spectator. It's a key player in the Indo-Pacific power struggle. For decades, the Philippine Navy lagged behind with outdated equipment. Now, the country is making bold moves, acquiring high-tech missiles from India, patrol aircraft from Israel, and warships from South Korea, transforming into a modern naval force. A defining moment came with the $375 million BrahMos missile deal with India. As the world's fastest cruise missile, Mach 3, BrahMos can eliminate threats before they reach Philippine waters. From aging World War II-era ships to cutting-edge firepower, the Philippines is no longer just keeping up. It's securing its place as a formidable force in the region. Beyond firepower, the Philippines is enhancing its surveillance capabilities. The acquisition of Elbit Systems maritime patrol aircraft allows the Philippine Air Force to track enemy movements, monitor illegal activities, and detect foreign intrusions with advanced radar systems. With rising tensions in the South China Sea, these aircraft serve as a critical early warning system. As one pilot put it, you can't defend what you can't see. Now we can see everything. South Korea has become the backbone of the Philippine Navy's modernization. From warships to fighter jets, it remains Manila's most trusted defense partner. The Jose Rizal-class frigates, built by Hyundai Heavy Industries, HHI, are the most advanced warships the country has ever owned. Under the Horizon 3 modernization program, South Korea is set to deliver corvettes, offshore patrol vessels, and even submarines. A Philippine defense official noted, South Korea delivers quality warships at a fraction of Western prices. While international partnerships strengthen the fleet, the revival of local shipbuilding in Cebu is a game changer. Once known for commercial ship construction, Balamban is now being repurposed for naval vessel production. Austal Philippines is already building offshore patrol vessels for the Philippine Navy. An Austal engineer proudly stated, "We're not just assembling parts, we're building our own fleet. Soon, made in the Philippines will be stamped on warships." Many overlook the fact that the Philippines ranks fourth in global shipbuilding, trailing only China, South Korea, and Japan. Now, the goal is to expand local warship production and establish the country as a naval defense hub. The government is pushing policies to incentivize local shipbuilders to produce warships, patrol boats, and amphibious craft. For years, the Philippines military focused on internal security rather than defending its vast maritime territory. But with rising geopolitical tensions and foreign incursions, the shift to external defense is now a priority. The $35 billion military modernization effort is not just about buying weapons. It's about securing the nation's future. Critics argue that massive defense spending is a financial burden. But history shows that nations with weak militaries become easy targets. The Philippines' investment in warships, submarines, missiles, and aircraft ensures that future generations inherit a nation that can stand its ground. A senior defense official put it bluntly, "A strong military is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Every peso spent on defense today prevents billions in losses from future conflicts." Beyond security, modernization boosts the local economy. The revival of shipbuilding, increased defense contracts with Filipino firms, and job creation in aerospace and tech sectors prove that defense spending fuels national development. In geopolitics, strength commands respect. The goal of modernization is deterrence, ensuring that any aggressor knows an attack on the Philippines is too costly. This is why the focus has shifted to missile capabilities, naval power, and advanced surveillance. With BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles, the Philippines can strike enemy warships and bases before they reach its shores. With new submarines and patrol aircraft, threats can be tracked and neutralized long before they escalate. A high-ranking naval officer put it best, "Deterrence ensures no one even thinks about attacking us. If they know we can hit back hard, they'll think twice before making a move." From U.S. missile deployments to homegrown warship production, the Philippines is no longer just reacting. It is shaping the balance of powers in the Indo-Pacific. The Philippine military's modernization roadmap known as the Horizon series, has been unfolding in 3 major phases. The first 2 phases, Horizon 1 and 2, focused on upgrading old equipment and improving internal security. Now, Horizon 3, 2023 to 2028, is all about making the full transition to external defense. What does this mean? It means a shift from counterinsurgency operations to securing the country's maritime territory. It means investing in fighter jets, submarines, long-range missiles, and a modern navy. It means that by the end of Horizon 3, the Philippines should be capable of defending its exclusive economic zone without relying entirely on allies. A defense strategist described the goal in one sentence. By 2028, the Philippines should be able to say, we don't just have a military, we have a military that can fight and win. The long-term impact of this modernization effort is clear. The Philippines is evolving from a passive player to an active force in regional security. With U.S. support, strategic partnerships with Japan, South Korea, and Australia, and a more self-reliant defense industry, the country is setting itself up to be a serious player in Indo-Pacific security. Standing aboard one of the newly acquired warships, a Filipino naval officer looked toward the horizon and said, "For the first time in decades, we're not just reacting. We're preparing. We're ready." The message is clear. The Philippines is no longer waiting to be defended. It is preparing to defend itself. The Philippines is undergoing a historic military transformation, shifting from internal security to a powerful external defense force. With a $35 billion modernization plan, key acquisitions like submarines, BrahMos missiles, and advanced patrol aircraft are reshaping its capabilities. Strategic partnerships with the US, Japan, and Australia further strengthen its defense posture, while local shipbuilding revival boosts self-reliance. This modernization not only enhances credible deterrence, but also shifts regional power dynamics, signaling that the nation is ready to defend its sovereignty. What do you think?